Hello, I'm Gemma Atkinson and welcome to the Petcast, brought to you by leading pet charity Blue Cross. This episode is all about your pet heroes. Heroes like Romeo.
He's such a good dog and I'm so proud of him.
Owner Steph is here to talk about her super staffy who visits care homes, does charity runs and even donates blood.
He goes to the Royal Veterinary College and he gives just under a pint, I think it is. It takes about 5 minutes. Obviously he can't squeeze his fist to push it out, so he's got like a little pump on it.
And then there's Dylan.
The second he saw those kids, he just knew what to do. And from that day on, I had a new path in life.
Dylan the pony has helped put a smile on the faces of hundreds of children with disabilities. His owner Alison is here to tell us why he's special. And throughout the episode, we'll hear incredible stories from up and down the country from Kerry Taylor of Blue Cross's education team.
I really think the education dogs are making such a difference for the pet owners of the future.
And that's what we do on the Petcast. We have candid conversations around the big issues facing pet lovers like me and you, with some of the UK's leading pet experts on hand to give us their best tips, tricks and guidance. So Kerry, welcome to the Petcast. Before we get into some of these incredible stories, tell me what it is you do for Blue Cross.
So I've worked for Blue Cross now for about 18 years and I manage the education team. So we are basically a team of 8 employees at Blue Cross, but also about 130 volunteers. So
wow.
Yeah, we go into schools, we try and inspire those pet owners of the future. We try and talk to you about how to keep safe around dogs and are really there to try and improve how people think about pets and how they feel about them and look after them as well.
And is it right you started working with horses?
I did, yeah.
Oh, this is brilliant because we've not had horses yet. We've had loads of dogs and cats, but not horses. So tell me about them then.
Yeah, I love horses, so I'm glad you mentioned that. But yeah, I started years ago at Blue Cross training the horses. So my favourites were the ones that came in most often through neglect or not being looked after properly. And then we would build back their trust, start riding them or just handling them. And then the best bit is when they go to new homes then.
Oh, and you see them happy, living their best life. Because they're very good with humans, aren't they, horses? They're very, there's like a sixth sense they have with them. They can sense what we're feeling. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I think horses are amazing and have seen so many different types of horses come into Blue Cross. And, as I said, they can often be treated so badly by people. People have let them down, but they react so well and they've got, such good senses and a real feel for how you feel as well, I think.
I think it's amazing how they're able to regain trust again. Like you say, we don't know what they've been through, but they do ultimately trust us again. And it says a lot about them because it takes a lot to forgive and know that not all humans are the same. So I think it's great. And now this episode is all about celebrating our pet heroes. But for you, what do we mean by a pet hero?
Yeah, I mean, for me, there are many pet heroes out there, but often it's those amazing animals that are even saving lives.
Wow.
Helping people go about their day-to-day lives, whether they're guide dogs, medical detection dogs. They have such amazing qualities. But I know also for me, I think there's lots of pet heroes out there that we don't even realise, and our pets at home may be one.
That's true. I mean, they have like animals that can have a major impact on someone's life. Like you said, from helping someone cross the road to alerting, someone who's going to have a fit, or even just with getting someone outside physically. If you own a pet that needs walking, or you physically have to go outside, and they do so much for us mentally. We spoke about mental health in another episode and how they are really the best medicine.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's lovely being a part of people's journey. So at Blue Cross, we may see a dog that comes in, not had the best start. And then we've got a family coming to us who maybe their child, hasn't been doing very well at school and they want to get them a pet to build their confidence and get out and about. And watching how that pet can, influence that child is wonderful. They've got so many benefits.
Well, I'm delighted to say joining us now is the owner of one of our pet heroes, an amazing pet hero actually, and a Blue Cross medal winner. Let's say hello to Steph. Hello, Steph.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for joining us. Now, you own Romeo, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, tell us all about Romeo.
Romeo is amazing. He's the most loving, sweet, funny, cheeky little thing in the world. He's such a good dog, and I'm so proud of him.
And what breed is he?
Romeo is an 8-year-old Staffordshire Bull Terrier.
Oh, see, I love this. I absolutely love that he's a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. I think there's such an amazing breed. When did you get Romeo?
I got Romeo about 7.5 years ago. I picked him up. We kind of got him accidentally. He was being advertised on a website that's quite well known for bad things happening to dogs. And I had 2 dogs at the time. And I wasn't looking for another dog. I wasn't, looking for an animal, but I couldn't leave him there. So we went to go and get him, and it's the best decision I've ever made, definitely.
Oh, good for you for going to get him. When was it that you started to realise he was a bit special?
Obviously, when I went to get him, he was 5 months old, and he's a big, burly staffy. So bringing him home to 2 miniature sausage dogs, and my 90-year-old nan, she was coming around sort of 3 times a week. I was a little bit worried he was going to be a bit too much for everybody. But he was amazing with the 2 little sausage dogs. He was so gentle with them when he played. And then when we brought my nan round, he went from doing zoomies around the house at 200 miles an hour to being so calm with her and being really gentle and soft. And it's like he knew that he could be crazy with us, but he couldn't be crazy with her. So we kind of started to realise that maybe he had something and he was able to tell when he had to be a little bit calmer, which we thought was pretty amazing for a 5-month-old staffy.
Yeah, it's almost like he can sense people's energy, and he knows how to react with it. And am I right in thinking he actually goes into the local care home to like cheer people up and make them smile?
Yeah, he does. We visit our local dementia care home and our hospital as well. We visit too. And they absolutely love him. Their faces light up and they can't wait to see him. And it's, especially with it being a dementia care home as well, he makes a huge, huge difference in there. There are times they call him all different sorts of names that begin with an R, but they kind of remember his name. And sometimes they get it, and they do remember him from the week before, and they absolutely love him. And they sit there and they tell me all about their dogs that they used to have, and yeah, they absolutely love cuddling him and giving him a stroke, and yeah, he makes a real difference in there, definitely.
I love that care homes are starting to allow that now.
Yeah.
So, dogs can have such a huge benefit, and actually even cats. We rehomed a cat to a care home.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just such a benefit for the people that are there, I think.
Well, they're the best medicine, aren't they, I think? Because all they want is love and affection. Yeah. They don't want anything else. It's amazing. And this blew my mind when I read this about Romeo. Is it true he gives blood?
Yes. He is a canine blood donor, yeah.
How? What's the process? How does a dog give blood?
But very similar to us. He goes to the Royal Veterinary College once every 2 months. And he goes in and he gives just under a pint, I think it is. So near enough the same as us. He has the same test, like he has a bit of blood taken before he gives blood to make sure his iron levels are up, same as us. And then it takes about 5 minutes. Obviously, he can't squeeze his fist to push it out, so he's got like a little pump on it. So kind of sucks it out, but it goes into his neck. And yeah, it takes about 5 minutes. But overall, we're in there about an hour because he's playing with the nurses beforehand and giving kisses and getting treats. And
I bet they book him an extra long appointment, especially so they have cuddle time.
Yeah, definitely. He absolutely loves it as well.
Am I right in thinking he's done 21 blood donations so far?
Yeah. He's just done last month his 21st blood donation, yeah.
So 21 pints of blood, that's going to save a lot of lives.
Yeah, I believe about 42 dogs so far.
Oh, that's lovely.
Bless him. We all need a Romeo. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. And he's also, he's quite a keen runner. He's putting me to shame, this Romeo. He's a good runner as well, isn't he? What's the highlight of his career so far?
And we've done quite a lot of different runs and done sort of raised money for different charities, both animal and human. But probably his 2 funniest runs are he's done the Race for Life for cancer research, and we spray painted him pink with pet-friendly colouring spray. So he ran around that pink, which was awesome. And then we actually did one for the Blue Cross last year. And we went to the superhero run in London, and we dressed him up as the superhero with a cape and everything. So.
Oh, fantastic.
Rightly deserved. He is an absolute super dog. It's kind of like they always say you don't find a dog finds you. So obviously he's come to the right owner, the right person who's doing the right thing with him, and in the process of that, you're helping so many other animals. So thank you so much, and thank you to Romeo. I know he can't hear me, but you can give him a stroke from us.
I will,
if possible. Thank you, Steph. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Kerry, what a dog.
Oh, I know.
But it's like she mentioned the care home. It is such an important companion for not just elderly people, for children as well and disabled people.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, pets can be such a big part of people's lives. And if something changes in their life and they don't have, maybe they've lost their pet, maybe they've had to give their pet up, it's a huge thing and a big change for them. And that can affect, how they feel in themselves as well.
We had an episode about pet bereavement, and I don't think people realise until you own a pet how physical the pain is when they're not there.
Yeah.
They make a huge difference to your life, and we often forget that a blood donation is needed by animals too. When you hear of a blood donor, you don't think of it as cats and dogs and pets will need it. You just think of it so the work that Romeo and other dogs do is so important.
Yeah.
We also talked about stories of these types of stories. You must hear them all the time, like animal heroes. I'm quite jealous actually of your dog. What are your favourite animal hero stories?
Yeah, do you know what, we hear so many, but I suppose the ones that really stand out for me are from some of our volunteers. So our volunteers, they have education dogs,
right,
and they go into schools, and particularly one of our volunteers, Chris Yates, has greyhounds, and he has the most amazing greyhounds. He has about 6 that are education dogs. So they passed assessments and they give blood as well, actually. They're the most amazing dogs. And, you hear him talk about the impact that they have on children. So, even if you show a picture of a dog in schools, you can tell the children's faces are like, a dog.
Yeah, definitely.
So taking in dogs, we've had children that have been sat at the back of the room petrified of dogs. It may be they've been bitten before. It may be that they just never, experienced a dog in real life before. And by the end of it, after the talk that Chris has given and how the dogs have behaved, and they just have such a big impact. And it could be that the children at the end are stroking the dog.
And they go home and say, Mom, Dad, we want a new pet.
Yeah, they might. And it's just, I really think those kind of, the education dogs are making such a difference for the pet owners of the future and inspiring all of those. So they really stand out for me.
And the Blue Cross, they've rehomed around 9,000 animals. They've rehomed.
Yeah.
There must be some really, really happy endings that you see, because obviously the animals come into you, you don't know the background or condition all the time. They fall in love again with their new family and they have happy endings. So tell us about those.
Yeah. We hear so many happy endings at Blue Cross, and I love that, and it's amazing to be a part of that journey. So I went to one of our centres, it must have been a couple of months back now, our Lukner Centre, and I was a part of the little journey, rehoming journey, which took me by surprise, really. But I was just walking around the centre, and a family were in, and they were looking at kittens.
Right.
And then I was kind of in the background, just looking, trying to listen as well, and was part of them picking out which kitten they wanted, the one that was playing with them the most, what they were going to call it, what they're going to do with this kitten.
Aww.
And actually being a part of it, it's so lovely. It's great to hear all these stories, but to actually see it and to see the huge benefit that it makes to families is really nice.
It must take some animals longer than others for various different factors. You must have come across, an animal that was maybe in for longer but still had that happy ending it deserved.
One of the real stories that stands out for me is a lovely lurcher called Dora.
I love her already.
I love lurchers. Yeah. Good name and good breed as well. Lurchers, lovely dogs, and Dora was abandoned. So no owner, we had no history on her, found, just dumped. And unfortunately Dora was with us for over 290 days.
Oh no, Dora.
Yeah, and that's a really long time actually, and not many of our dogs stay for us for that long, so she just hadn't found that right person come to find her.
Why do you think that was? Was she an older dog, or was it just
Yeah, no, she was quite shy, so she'd obviously been abandoned. We didn't know much of her history. She was quite timid, and sometimes it can take us a little bit longer to find that right match. She was so lovely, but a really lovely couple came in, obviously spotted Dora, chatted to our teams, that perfect matchmaking process.
Yeah.
And she went to live in a lovely home with a greyhound who could kind of show her the way a little bit.
Oh, I'm so happy. So now she is rehomed and she is happy, living her best life.
She's rehomed, is living the most wonderful life now. And so, it can sometimes take a bit longer, but it's all you need to do is go and look.
Oh, bless her. We're going to hear now from another owner of another pet hero. There's pet heroes everywhere. We have Alison on the phone. Welcome, Alison.
Hi.
Hi, Alison. Now, you run your own riding school for disabled children in Staffordshire. Can you tell me about that, first of all?
Yes, sure. So we're Riding for the Disabled Centre, registered with the main national office. So we offer horse riding and ground therapy sessions for anyone with physical and learning difficulties.
And how can a horse or ponies, what is it they do to change lives? How can they do that?
Oh, they're amazing. I mean, from a physical point of view, they're one of the few bodies that work similar to ours. So by sitting on a horse, we are boosting their nervous system. We're helping, so that obviously boosts their brain and everything like that. It also works their muscles, their core stability. But also animals don't judge. So the kids they just fall in love with them. They learn how to be around them. They're calming. It's just on all aspects. You can learn things through lessons, fine, gross motor skills, anything you can do with an animal.
And you started all this because of your special pony, Dylan. I love the name Dylan as well for a pony. We were saying it's a really cool name. Tell me about Dylan. What's so special about him?
Oh, probably because he's a cheeky little chap. He first came to me because I used to breed horses, and he just came to be a granddad to the foals and look after the foals. But then he always loved being around kids, and just as families are and there's kids around, he used to do all little pony rides, and he was always the cheeky little monkey. And then my brother, he supports Worcester Children's Hospital, and Santa was going. And you know what? We took him along, and the second he saw those kids, he just knew what to do. Some of them were so poorly, and he just knew what they needed. And from that day on, that was it. I had a new path in life.
And he goes like Romeo. He has regular visits to the local hospital, doesn't he?
Yes, he's hung his hooves up now because he's about 26, I think. But yes, for several years that was his annual outing with Santa.
Dylan's obviously the star of the show, but you do have there's a lot of other horses and ponies at your riding school. You have quite a lot.
Yeah, we have 6 active ponies, 3 of which are Blue Cross horses, which is great that we can rehab horses and then use them in our therapies. And some do ridden and some do groundwork, yeah.
I think there's something about like a rescue horse as well, where they've come from such a bad background, and it almost makes them a bit more in tune, I think, with the children and how other people are feeling.
Yeah. And it's like, with horses, it's a big responsibility. I mean, Alison, you'll know, you can't just get a horse or pony and put it in a field. It needs, I mean, I obviously don't own them, but you see terrible videos of when the hooves are too long or the manes are matted. I mean, it's a lot of care, isn't it, to own horses and ponies?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's another aspect that you can bring in with the therapies, because it's amazing when we say we have a child that won't eat a carrot. But when he sees us feeding the horses carrots, suddenly carrot is that favourite food of that child. So you can use the care of the animals to teach the riders as well.
Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us, Alison. And thank you to Dylan, and wish him a happy, next 27th birthday from us.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
Thanks. You. Bye.
Bye.
Kerry, you used to work with horses, didn't you?
Yeah.
Am I right? I've read that they're really, really emotional, intelligent animals. Is that true?
Yeah. They I think they can just pick up on so many different senses. You know, how you're feeling. I mean, they've obviously got great sense of smell and hearing and sight and things like that. So there has been research done that they can read facial expressions in humans and pick up on emotions. But I like to think, I don't know, there's just a bit of a mystery there. Yeah. You know, why they're so good, which I find really interesting.
It's funny, as a child, you'd see the country and western films, or the princess on horseback, and there's always an aspect so you think, I'd love to be able to ride a horse, and they just look so, it's like a majestical beast type thing, because they look so strong and powerful. But they're also, if you just feed them, they're so soft, and how they nibble the food off your hand. They're just fantastic animals.
Oh, lovely animals, really lovely.
And do you ride yourself?
I used to, so I haven't ridden in a while actually. But I used to own 2 Blue Cross horses. So you often find that you go home with the ones you think, I'm not sure we'll rehome this.
Yeah, you can't leave them.
No, and then you take them home.
And in your work with schools, you must see firsthand as well the impact that animals have on children.
Yeah, I mean, every day we're going into schools and we're talking about empathy, what it means for a pet, how they might feel, how to care for them. But most of the time, when you do see an animal such as a dog in a school environment, you can just see them gravitate to that child that may be feeling a bit more vulnerable, maybe really doesn't want to be in school at all. And that, is really powerful to see that.
Well, I think what I've learned from all these podcasts is that, no matter what size, what animal, what breed, what any type of animal, they have no voice, we do. We all have to work together to ensure that their health and welfare and happiness is a priority. And with people like yourself and people like Alison, who we've had, the impact you're all doing, and Steph as well, is great. So thank you so much, the 3 of you, for joining us. And keep doing what you're doing, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it for this Petcast, but there's tons more information on our website, so head over to bluecross.org.uk/podcast. Whether you've got a Moggy or a mongrel, a Syrian hamster or Shire horse, Blue Cross have got you covered. If you've enjoyed the episode, feel free to share it with a fellow pet lover, or write us a review on your podcast app, which will help people find it more easily. I'm Gemma Atkinson. The Petcast is a Bengal media production for Blue Cross.